Hey everybody, how are you fucking doing today? Hope you're doing great. I feel kind of sick, to be honest. I don't feel so good. But anyway, I'm gonna do the WrestleMania, I think it's 37, the one that's coming up, but the WrestleMania Night 2 booking here. And I said it's fantasy booking, but like I'm using realistic terms, like I'm using wrestlers that could actually appear. Like I'm assuming Undertaker's retired, so I'm not gonna put him anywhere in this. And to be honest, even if he wasn't retired, I don't know other than maybe like a cinematic match where I would put him. But I have a cinematic match planned here too, by the way. But anyway, so let's go. First match, the opening match, night 2 of WrestleMania. I think what I should play, what I should be, what I think should be, what works, what makes sense, what I think would be good. A ladder match, 6-way ladder match for the vacant U.S. title. Lashley doesn't lose the U.S. title here; it gets vacated because of an injury, a storyline injury, not a real one. And this is basically the result at WrestleMania. We have a match for the vacant title, and it's people inside are AJ Styles, Keith Lee, Shelton Benjamin, John Morrison, Ricochet, and Jeff Hardy. Basically, this is a way to get a lot of mid-carders on the card, and also you got quite a few high flyers there, and Jeff Hardy gets to be in a ladder match again at WrestleMania, which is cool. And in the end, I would have Keith Lee win the U.S. title because I think it makes sense. It's a big moment, and you could build a story from there between him and Lashley because he never beat Lashley after Mania if he won. Speaking of Lashley, now we're going to talk about what happened with him and the U.S. title and the second match of WrestleMania, a match that I know a lot of people will want to see anyway. It would make a lot of sense, and I think you could do it at WrestleMania, because I'm assuming they're not going to book Raymond St. James Stadium for 2 nights, and like when they're already in the Thunderdome and it's an open arena, if they're not planning to have some fans. Like, there's rumors there's 25,000 planned. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'd imagine it's somewhere between 5,000 to 25,000, like maybe 10,000. Anyway, and things can change between now and then. That's all the way in April. Anyway, match 2 will be Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar because, yes, this would be the perfect place to do it. Maybe not perfect. You could do it better with more people, but it's getting to the point where you better do it soon or it's going to be too late mainly for Brock. No, I think him and Lashley are around the same age, but at certain times it's just going to feel like it doesn't matter anymore. And I think this is a good time to do it when he's actually being pushed pretty good. And what I would do is, okay, so Lashley in the storyline in the beginning, he's going to be in the Royal Rumble, make it to the Final Four. With he's gonna have Sheamus, Shinsuke Nakamura, and it doesn't really matter who the fourth guy is. He throws out the fourth guy, and it's down to him and Sheamus and Shinsuke. And Sheamus and Shinsuke, he goes to Sheamus. How did I put it? Sheamus gets him over the top rope. He goes to spear Sheamus. Sheamus catches him and like throws him over, but he doesn't fall out. And then he goes to bro kick Lashley. Lashley catches the foot and kind of rolls him. And then Shinsuke Nakamura comes and like side kicks him, but he doesn't fall. He's still hanging barely. And then Sheamus is in one corner, Shinsuke's in the other, and they do like a double kick, a double boot. And Shinsuke, he can do like a jumping kick, and that's the way Lashley falls. And then because he's mad, he gets in the ring and he kind of beats the crap out of both of them a little bit before he leaves to kind of build drama for those two. You could probably guess who won the Rumble. Obviously, it's Shinsuke, since you already know Sheamus got a shot at Drew, and I didn't say anything about him winning the Rumble. So all right. Next on Raw, he has a match with Jeff Hardy, and he just destroys him. In the beginning, he spears him as soon but he attacks him before the match. He puts in what's he call it, a hurt lock? And he puts in the hurt lock, and he spears him like 3 times. And like Jeff Hardy has no offense, and he cuts a promo saying how he is the best wrestler his company has. And he's carried his company on his back, and yet every year at WrestleMania, it's like he's forgotten about, and that guys like Goldberg just come back and get a title shot, and he's stuck fighting demons and competing in ladder matches with has-beens and never-wases. And then you could have him say a line like, or doing the bidding of billionaires if you want to reference WrestleMania 23 without saying the name of the person he was representing. But you could just say that, you know. And he says something like, but, you know, he mentioned Goldberg, he goes, but at least Goldberg actually showed up this year, you know, unlike Brock Lesnar, who he seems to show up and get title shots anytime he wants, but he hasn't even been around all year anyway. He said, well, it's about time I started getting respect around here, and this is the Raw after the Rumble. And then, so, the next week they're going to have a scheduled match between him and Sheamus to see who gets shot in the chamber for who's going to get a shot at Drew. But he's filmed backstage by the entire Hurt Business, completely out. He's on the floor, and we don't know what happened. So Adam Pearce, at some point he says they're going to wait to see what's going to happen with the U.S. title. And there can be some intrigue with Sheamus where Hurt Business thinks him to go out there. Anyway, all the way up to Fastlane. Adam Pearce says if Lashley doesn't show up, he's going to have an announcement about the U.S. title. He's going to have to vacate it. So he shows up. There's no Lashley, and he has the U.S. title. Adam Pearce goes, well, I'm going to tell you what we're going to do about the U.S. title. At WrestleMania, there's going to be a match. And then as soon as he says there's going to be a match, out comes Brock Lesnar. The music hits, and Brock says, don't worry, Adam Pearce. I'm not here to beat up a former, retired, washed-up loser like you. He can be an asshole. And he doesn't need Paul. He can just kind of low. Paul can stay with Roman. You don't have to have him put Brock if you don't want to. And he says, I don't want the U.S. title either. To me, that title is a joke, just like Lashley. And he said, I know Lashley's been talking for years. Now I finally did something about it. And I took him out. He said, yeah, I did it. And now I think if he's got the balls, I want him in 8 days. I'm going to appear on Raw again. And I want him to show up and face me. And we can settle this. And so, sure enough, in 8 days of Raw, Brock comes out. Lashley comes out too. He's wearing a neck brace and tape. He's still, in storyline-wise, he's not medically clear. And they bring a bunch of security guards. And Brock's basically just telling him, come on. He flicks him off. And then Lashley just beating up security guards. He gets the ring with Brock. And have Brock almost give him a Kimura. He goes for the spear and puts a Kimura. But then Lashley gets him up for the Kimura and puts him in the turnbuckle and makes him let him go. And then they start throwing some bombs and have the security again. Build it up so that Lashley looks a little strong. And then, after that, have it real that there's going to be an unsanctioned match at WrestleMania. And Adam Pearce basically telling Lashley, you need to sign a contract. And this contract needs to say that you can't sue WWE or Brock, basically. And that's the whole build. Just make the match of Mania and just have Lashley beat Brock. From there, that's what I would do. I think it makes the next match a lot of sense. For the second year in a row, the NXT Women's title is going to be on the line, but it's going to be a little different. This time with the Rumble winner, it's going to be Io Shirai defending her title against Candice LeRae in a title versus hair match. But also, Io's going to have in her corner, let's start with Candice. She has the way, obviously. Johnny, Indie, Wrestling, Hardwell, whatever, and Austin Fury. And she's going to have Ciampa, Cameron Grimes, and Ember Moon. Basically, at the TakeOver coming in February, so have the final, have the way, the Candice win it, her and Indy win the Dusty tournament, and then on the same card you have Io beat Raquel Gonzalez and Mercedes Martinez in a triple threat. She wins, and then after the match, she's attacked by those two, and they're kind of beating her down, and they start cutting some of her hair, and then Ember Moon comes to kind of help her out, and then the bill is there basically. And as far as Ciampa and Grimes goes to shot at Johnny. Ciampa, you can have something where he's still mad at Candice for costing the match against Johnny in one final beat. And Johnny can make fun oh, you can't get a shot, haha. And he's like, yeah, but I can be in her corner to make sure you don't try to give your wife the title and cheat her like she cheated me, basically. And you can do some cool spots in this match with the people outside. Ember, I think, could hit a cool from the top rope to the floor, hit her Eclipse to Indy Hartwell. And she could wear the neck brace again after that. Like she did. He could have Cameron Grimes do his cave-in to Austin Fury. And I would have Ciampa just kind of throw Gargano over the guardrail so he can interfere. And finish, it worked out pretty good. I haven't really talked about the other finish here. But so, the whole match is getting her back kind of worked. But she hits her backbreaker. She goes up top for the moonsault. And she kind of holds her back. And then Candice is able to use that. She gets her, crouched her on the top rope. She gets up and hits the neck breaker that she does. I don't know the name of it. I know it has a name, I forgot. And she pins her to win clean the women's title because, in my opinion, it makes the most sense. At some point, she has to lose the title. She had almost a year, and I think Candice deserves a run with the title. And I think it'd be cool to have her and Johnny having gold. You can have them be really obnoxious heels. A lot of people would hate that for all the right reasons. All right, match number 4, and now we have the NXT title defended for the first time at WrestleMania. Finn Balor, who will come out as a demon, who will be Demon Finn Balor against Randy Orton. Bet you didn't see that one coming. Now, what I would do here. Because in my opinion, NXT kind of needs ratings. And Randy Orton, in my opinion, he's kind of hit a wall on Raw. He's basically fought everybody he can fight, at least for now. So I would have so at NXT TakeOver, main event would be Finn in a 4-way against Pete Dunne, Kyle O'Reilly, and Timothy Thatcher. And Thatch, he wins by pinning Thatch. Basically, Thatch just gets the win because he beat Ciampa. And so after the match, he's attacked by Randy Orton with RKO. But that's not enough. Randy goes to punt, but he stops. He gets a chair. He puts it on the jaw, he does it he's hitting the jaw of Finn several times. And eventually other NXT wrestlers come and he kind of walks away then. And then after that he could basically have him cut a promo on the next NXT and build it up and probably get some ratings for that. And the storyline saying that he was a legend killer, but he's tired of killing legends, so there's no more point. He's done it enough. So he wants to kill the future because he feels the future is a joke. It's nothing. Because he should be the future. He should be the past, present, and future. Because he's Randy Orton. And anyway, so that's the build. And you can have him, challenge Finn. So if you want to beat me, you need to bring the Demon. And it's a good excuse to bring the Demon back at WrestleMania too. So, and this time you get a full match with the Demon, not just a short little thing he did with him and Lashley. I was gonna say Baron Corbin. That was in SummerSlam. Anyway, in this match, I'd have Finn beat Orton because I don't really see any point for Orton to beat Finn. And if you think about it, like if you maybe you disagree with this, yeah, there's other opponents for Finn, but who do you really have for Orton? Unless you get Triple H, and I don't think anybody like maybe you want to see Triple H Orton again. That's great, but I don't think there's really much reason to make that match. But I guess you could. Or him and Cena, maybe if you get Cena, but I don't know if Cena's gonna be there. I booked this like Cena's not gonna be here. Cena was gonna be here. I'd probably have him fight Drew, like I've seen people suggest. But anyway, I have Finn beat Orton, and then we have this is like a segment to kind of move things around, where it's an interview with Daniel Bryan. He's backstage at Mania again, and it's the second day, and kind of have the interview, whoever's interviewing say, Daniel, you're here again. Are you going to cash in? And he could like kind of tease like, well, I did make history. One time I did wrestle 2 matches on WrestleMania and walk away with a world title. And I can make history here being the first person to wrestle on 2 different nights of Mania and walk away with a world title. But maybe not. Maybe I'm just here to watch the show. And then have Drew Gulak kind of come, and he's running. He's like, Daniel, you have to hire me. I've been the 24/7 champion. Nobody lets me rest. Nobody lets me sleep. And he goes, we used to, and he kind of looks at the briefcase for me and he goes, wait, no, he's like, no, I'm not going to cash. He's like, no, I know you're thinking you're going to cash in. Have him run a little bit like right here and have Cedric come. He's like, I got you now. You can't run it in. Just have Daniel kind of hit Cedric with the briefcase. Have Cedric fall over, and then he tells Drew like, well, you helped me out. You were my tag partner, and we're cool. So this is a kind of little fun little nod to their history. And then have Drew kind of run away and have some more segments here, like have Asuka cut a promo interview and Shayna, which, spoiler alert, that's our next match. And then, yeah, so Asuka for Shayna Baszler for the women's title. Have Shayna at Fastlane. There's a 4-way match for who gets a shot, although a freeway, because Charlotte's getting a shot at Asuka. It would be Shayna, Nia, and Lacey Evans, free heels. And the winner is, we'll put Mandy Rose. I think a 4-way, put Mandy Rose. Shayna wins, basically, just, there doesn't need to be much of a story. She wants the title. Asuka has it. Maybe she's like, I'm not scared of you. I'm ready for you. And Shayna wins. I would have Shayna win the title here because just like Rhea, she kind of needs to reclaim some of her lost momentum because, yeah, she had a decent tag title run, but I don't think it was great. And I don't think she really should have been in the tag team. I think it was just kind of, we got nothing for you, so here you go. And plus I don't think Asuka's had the title for a while. I don't think it would hurt her to lose here. And I actually would have Shayna do something that was done, and that's to make Asuka tap out to build her up more. And next up, I'd have an interview with Candice LeRae in the back, kind of bragging with the way about her title run. But then after that, we would have. No, actually, I'll put that later. I had it written down. Okay, the return of this match. This is the 6 matches of Mania. It's the return of the Andre Giant Memorial Battle Royal because I think it needs a return to the main card. And if you're gonna have it 2 nights, you might as well. And you can still get some pretty good. You can give somebody kind of a rub from it if you do it right. And these are the people inside. There's no Raw Tag Team title match, by the way. So the Raw Tag Team champs, if you were there, is Retribution. They won them like sometime after the Rumble, and they have the rule, the Freebird rule. They can have defending when they want. So we have Drew Gulak, even though he's 24/7 jumping around, he gets to get a match too. Cedric Alexander, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, Mustafa Ali, T-Bar, Slapjack, Mace, Chad Gable, Otis, Baron Corbin, his little guys, Wesley Blake and the other Cutler, the little team he has, Riddle, Braun Strowman, because he says he wants to win it twice because nobody's done it, Kalisto, Metallic, Lindsay, Murphy, and MVP. And the finish, basically, Braun, Corbin hits Murphy with his deep 6, and he kind of rolls him to the bottom rope. And then him and Braun are alone with his little team. And Braun kind of throws out one of them, and then he throws out the other, but then he gets thrown out by Corbin, and Corbin thinks he won. But then he turns around, Murphy knees him, and then he falls over a rope, but he doesn't very well out, and so Murphy closes him out, and then he wins. Murphy, so and Andre, and I would have Ray and Dominic and Aaliyah all come out and celebrate with him. They're happy. And I actually would have a moment here, Seth Rollins returning, not to wrestle, because I don't know if you have enough time to build a feud for him. You could maybe, but have him return and kind of apologize for what he did to Ray and say a face turn where he says, now that I've had a kid of my own, I'm a father, I see what I did was horribly wrong, and I want to say I feel really good seeing you and Dominic win the tag titles. I felt really good, even though Murphy and me aren't, together anymore. I feel happy seeing him win this moment. And then have Ray say, well, if you really mean it, come in this ring and shake my hand and we'll forgive you. And then have him do it, no tricks. That would be a better way, I think, to do a face turn. And just have him show up randomly be face. Then we'd have the interview with Candice, and also after that, we'd have, this one I don't have a lot of story build up to, but I think it makes sense. And it would be the first ever Firefly Funhouse tag match. Bray, or the Fiend, or Bray Wyatt, whatever, and Alexa Bliss versus Triple H and Stephanie. Because Triple H could probably have a match with Bray Wyatt, but I think it's more interesting to have a Firefly Funhouse. Do a cinematic match, and there's so many things you could pay to the history, pay tribute to the history of Triple H and stuff, and how the build go. Like maybe Triple H is there to make an announcement, he gets attacked by the Fiend, and then Stephanie is there for something one week, and then Alexa attacks her. And that's it. You can have him challenge them for the Firefly Funhouse, and of course the winner, Bray and Alexa, because Triple H Stephanie don't need to win. And then before we get to the main event, have some interviews with Roman, basically bragging, saying he's going to beat Shinsuke. Have an interview with Shinsuke, where he talks a little bit about he's going to win, and Sorrow comes for the Intercontinental, and he says, even though we might not see eye to eye and everything, I'm going to say I'm happy you're here in the main event Mania. And tonight we're going to both walk out here and go. Then have Jey Uso come. Jey got to go, you ain't going to win no gold, Uso, because Roman's going to destroy you. And if he don't forget, Uso, you also have to deal with me and the tribe. And then have Cesaro swipe him with the Intercontinental, and he picks up Jey. He's like, you know what? I'm going to help you out. I'm going to take him somewhere so he can interfere. So that's the way to keep Jey out of the match. And Roman Shinsuke, basically, just let them go at it. And Shinsuke won the Rumble. Shinsuke gets to beat Roman here, become the champion. But wait, out comes Daniel Bryan. And everybody's freaking out. Is he going to cash on Shinsuke? He gets the promo. He says, no. He says, Shinsuke, I'm really proud. I'm really happy to see you champion. But as you know, I had the money in the bank. And I think it would be great if I walked away from WrestleMania with a world championship. And Shinsuke looks nervous. But then the young says, but not the Universal. I want to be WWE champion again. He says, and anyway, I don't want to be the guy who's at a match. I want to be the guy who's fresh. So Drew, come out here. Let's make history. And then Drew McIntyre comes out. We get an impromptu WrestleMania main event. Drew McIntyre and Daniel Bryan. Because that would be a huge match by himself. And then let these two you could still get them a lot of time. Probably about 50 minutes. And in the end, Drew McIntyre wins. Shockingly, because everybody probably thinking Daniel's going to win. But no, Drew wins to retain his championship. After the match, you could have him shake hands to show there's no hard feelings. And have Drew celebrate with the pyro. Hopefully with a crowd, even if it's like 25,000 people cheering. So I think this would be a great moment. It would make Drew look so strong and badass. It would help build him up. And it would also get rid of the Money in the Bank, because we're about to have Money in the Bank PV every way, and not have it be kind of a stupid way to do it. I think this would be the best way you could do it. And also, Drew gets to make history winning 2 matches on 2 nights. Just like Dan gets to wrestle 2. I guess technically Cedric and Truth and Otis wrestled 2 matches on 2 nights too. Yeah, so basically they all made history in their own way. But anyway, that's it for the fantasy booking. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you comment if you want how you liked it or if you didn't like it. Peace.